Alright, this is going to be part 2 of the video. It's a 1979 to 1802 Chariot made by William Ross. This is my better phone, Ultra, my S21 Ultra. It went dead, so I didn't want to give up on making footage completely, so I'm going to do a part 1 with that one and part 2 with this one. So the quality is going to be different between the two, obviously. A pair of Bugattis, 1931 Bugatti Type 41 Royale. $481. .300 horsepower. Mm, 1937 Accord 812 convertible. 125 horsepower at 3,500 RPM. $2,645 brand new. Continental. It's a 1956 Continental Mark II. It's 300 horsepower at 4,800 RPM. $10,000 car, brand new. It's a 1936 Lincoln Zephyr sedan. $110 horsepower, $1,320 brand new. What do we got here? It's 1899 Daria Trap. It says 6 horsepower, 700 pounds, and you could buy it $1,200 brand new. It's a 1914 Detroit Electric Model 47. If you remember back in history, Henry Ford actually built his wife an electric vehicle. There were some complications with the reliability back then, though. This had a unknown equivalency of power that this electric vehicle would make. They didn't really know too much about what the equivalent it was. This is an Edsel. It's a 1958 Edsel Citation hardtop. This was a 345 horsepower, 4,600 RPM car, and right at $3,500 brand new. This was a little bit more of a unique design compared to most cars for its time, because this car was very comfortable, but it also was one of the most spacious out of the fleet of cars. In 1948, Tucker 48 sedan, you can look in here and see everything was pretty much just contained over there into the driver's side of the vehicle. Everything else was exposed for comfort and room, and everything was all open in this vehicle. It was really a one-of-a-kind vehicle. Swooping fenders and 6 exhaust pipe make the Tucker look like a Buck Rogers comic book rocket ship. But Preston Tucker's car mixes fantasy with practicality. The center light turns with the front wheels to illuminate the corners. The taillights are visible from the side of the safety. Taillights are visible for side safety. The doors curve into the roof for easier access, and grills on the rear fenders feed cooling air to the rear-mounted engine. And if you look in the back of the vehicle, you see 6 exhaust pipes instead of your standard 2. Well, on some of them anyway. You see here how it had the 6 tailpipes ready to blast off. Here's a 1927 LaSalle. 1927 LaSalle Roadster, 75 horsepower, 3,000 RPM. This was I like this car. This is probably one of my favorite cars out of most of the cars because it was kind of stylish back then. It had like sporty design for back then. It's a really cool looking car. (1908) Stevens Duryea Model U limousine, 35 horsepower, 3,400 pounds, and $4,500 brand new. Look at this guy, 1983 Honda Accord LX. Really clean car. This car made 75 horsepower at 4,500 RPM, and it was about $8,645 brand new. In the 1980s, the Honda Accord challenged the Attitude. It was similar in price to the Chevy Impala, which was 3 feet longer, twice the horsepower, but the Honda conditioning, cruise control, and cassette tape player and rear window defroster sales steadily increased and basically started stealing away sales from American manufacturing because of all the options that were available in 1983. People wanted features. The JB Rocket Cycles Car Detroit, 1913 Scripps Booth Rocket Cycle Prototype. Made 10 horsepower, 670 pounds, $385. The Warrior, 1974 Warrior concept car. Renault. McKinley Thompson designed this car for basic but dependable transportation in developing nations. He built his prototype using the chassis and rear engine from a Renault 10 sedan. Thompson fabricated the body from a composite plastic material that was durable and buoyant, helping the car cross waterways in rough country. He called this car the Warrior because it would conquer time and distance for its users. Thompson took his proposal to several car companies and even considered forming his own, but could not interest automakers or investors. It's an inline-4, 68 cubic inch, made 48 horsepower, and it was a 4-speed manual transmission. (1952) Federal 45M truck tractor. Good looking truck, very nice, very clean. This truck made 127 horsepower at 26 RPM, or 2,600 RPM, and it cost $6,000. About 120,000 tractor trailers traveled the roads by 2000. There were over 2 million. (1975) FMC Motorhome, 247 horsepower at 4,000 RPM. This would have cost $27,000, and it was a. I mean, you could find everything in these things. This was your house in your RV. It's a 1900 wood electric truck. Delivery at the speed of electricity. It's the equivalent of 4 horsepower. 1800s new concept. The department store offered urban shoppers expanded services, included free delivery and horse-drawn wagons. In 1898, New York City's B. Altman and Company began to experiment with electric trucks, including this one that made twice the daily trips from a warehouse to a distribution center. The huge investment in the new technology helped B. Altman improve services and perhaps save money over time. Roadway Express. It's 1974 Ford C700. 169 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. It cost $8,000 for this truck. That old truck driver's bumper stickers, largely true. By 2005, the truck hauled nearly 70% of total freight tonnage in the United States. This truck carried over 44 million pounds of freight, but not all at once. Between 1974 and 1990, it hauled P&D, pickup and delivery services among industries and businesses around Lexington, Kentucky. Roadway Express operated 3,200 similar Ford trucks in other cities. This right here is a 1906 Rapid bus. The moneymaker possibilities Rapid suggested for its bus included sightseeing and shuttling travelers between railroad stations and hotels. It's styled like horse-drawn vehicles of its era, even though automobiles were begging to move away from the horseless carriage look. The Rapid is the direct ancestor of modern sport shuttles and city tour buses, and its top speed of 15 miles per hour was rapid. In 1906, it made 24 horsepower, weighed 3,000 pounds, and its price tag was $2,000. Well, children. Bluebird number 1, 1927 Bluebird school bus. If you attended a rural school in the 1920s, you were traveling in one of these or horse-drawn carriage, one or the other. 20 horsepower, 1,600 RPM, weighed 3,157 pounds. It's a 1935 Stagecoach travel trailer. 1935 Stagecoach travel trailer. Henry Ford gave this trailer to his friend Charles Lindbergh in 1942. Lindbergh was an American hero, famous for making the first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic. Charles and his wife Anne used it as a home on the road and as a spare room and a study at home. Anne wrote the steep ascent here, and Charles wrote portions of the Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Spirit of St. Louis. Price tag brand new was $795, and it weighed 2,750 pounds. What do we got here? Jerry Unser Motor Company, 1956 Ford F-100. For decades, most race cars, even at the top levels of racing, were transported on open trailers pulled by pickup trucks or station wagons. Drivers and mechanics sometimes slept in the vehicles or inexpensive motels. It's a far cry from today when race cars ride in huge trailers equipped with shops and drivers travel by plane in luxurious motorhomes. This vehicle made 245 horsepower at 4,500 RPM, and its price tag was $1,577. And here's a very, 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 very important room. Lift these brake discs to feel the weight difference. Racing brake pads. It's a Ford GT brake system. Ford GT racing brake system. It's says, lift these brake discs to feel the difference. Cast iron brake discs, carbon ceramic brake discs. That's heavy. It is lighter, but it is heavy too, though. Yeah, the carbon ceramic is definitely a lot lighter. It's a 4GT clay model. How about it? A 4GT cutaway. Man, this thing is so nice. It's crazy sexy. It's a twin turbo V6 engine. As far as I know, yeah, it's 647 horsepower. It's actually more powerful. The road car versus the race car. This is a cutaway half race car, the half road car. This race car, the race regulations limit horsepower, so the road car 647 horsepower is actually more powerful than the racing engine that's in the race car. Multi-dynamic suspension, spool valve dampening, improved racing GT's handling. They are more predictable than traditional shocks. "24-hour Le Mans."